on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 2022 Land Rover Range Rover Sport. This is the third generation model codenamed L461. The regular Range Rover, okay, I cannot call it regular, but both of them are so related that the codename for that one is actually L460. So both of them are actually based on the same platform. This is the sportier version of the Range Rover. Straight away, let's open the clamshell bonnet, which is very easy to open because I am struggling with it now. But anyways, obviously it gets gas struts. There's insulation there. Engine feels a bit too small here. Says Ingenium right on it. Plastic cover here. And yeah, it kind of feels compact, which is surprising. This is where washer fluid actually goes. It draws in air from here, so that's kind of functional as well. Let's just shut this, and you know what? It is having its own distinct identity. So firstly, let's get to the lights, which look absolutely gorgeous. These are full LED lights. Well, they are known as the pixel LEDs, and the best thing is that they can actually project things on the road. You can see multiple LED elements on the inside. This is for the high beam light. Right now it is obviously on the low beam, and this is the indicator, which unfortunately doesn't have the dynamic swipe function. This is the DRL. So the grille has also become slimmer. The lights have also become slimmer. So when the indicator is not working, it doesn't really convert into a DRL, but lights are beautiful. Look at that. And you obviously get a headlight washer as well. It looks absolutely gorgeous, this Range Rover Sport, especially in this red paint shade. So things have become smaller. Like even the bumper is kind of sportier now. In fact, this is all fake, like it's all closed. It doesn't draw in air from here. This guy's got the dark chrome package. So it has got this, dark bronze package or something. So bronze elements have been added. You get front parking sensors. This is the panel for some ADAS function. This is the front camera, of course, which does not get the cleaning function, And this is actually the fog light, which is placed lower down. You can see the bumper has a very sporty treatment to it. Honestly, this car looks so amazing. It's mind-blowing how the Range Rover Sport still has its own charisma in spite of the fact that they have the velour, which obviously we all know looks the sexiest among all Land Rovers. Here again you've got this sort of treatment. So piano black, and this is the Range Rover element, rather the Sport, Range Rover Sport element, because the Range Rover has a vertical element as such. Coming to the side, you realize, well, it is actually decently long, so it's obviously grown bigger in terms of size. The wheelbase has increased by 74 mm and the length is almost 5 meters. The wheelbase is almost 3 meters. In fact, the wheelbase is identical to the regular Range Rover, the standard wheelbase version. Coming to the wheels, finally Land Rover has designed good looking wheels. 285 45 22s is the size of the tires. You can actually get 21s on lower variants, and you can opt for 23s as well. Design is actually good, and it says Land Rover right there, which is finished in black. And here you obviously get a camera. Okay, now you must be noticing one thing, that the car is completely squatted down because that's the lowest ground clearance at 216 mm. You can raise it to 281 mm, which is absolutely crazy. You see the lines, and from the side it's very much like a Range Rover Sport ought to be. These door handles, they pop in and out, and when you're driving they're obviously sitting inside flush. You get this piano black finishing everywhere, in fact on the pillars, just to give it that floating roof appearance. And then obviously it's sloping and the windshield is a bit raked, so it's not upright, or rather as upright as the Range Rover, both at the front as well as the rear, because obviously this is about being sporty. So sloping roofline will obviously eat into the headroom. But anyways, let's open this. So this is a petrol, that's the reason we do not have AdBlue socket here. So just a dummy right there. It says 95 octane is what you need to fill in this car. And look at the size of the tires. Well, they are quite big. Parking sensors on the side, because obviously it has got auto park function, I believe. Coming to the rear, again feels very distinct now. For starters, it gets horizontal tail lights instead of the vertical ones in the new Range Rover. Says Land Rover here. Lights actually look quite nice. Range Rover written beautifully there. Dynamic swipe indicators, says Sport right there, and you can see that is actually the rear fog light, and you've got multiple sensors. There's a diffuser treatment here. That is a camera which actually gets a washing function as well, just to clean the camera if you so wish. Exhausts are real, so Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will stay away from them. Although, like, the casing is big, the exhaust inside is actually chintu mintu. Both of them are very much functional. Check the underbody of this car. Oh my god, it looks so heavy from there as well. So let's do one thing. Let's straight away open the boot, and I have to press the button here. Yeah, it's quite low, and there it opens. Now the thing is that boot is big enough at 450 liters. However, there's a change now. Okay, firstly, let's remove this partial shelf, which is quite easy. There it goes back. This is 450 liters, but unlike the previous generation Range Rover Sport, which could be had with 7 seats, this one is only a 5-seater now. So if you're looking to carry 7 people, you have to pay more for the Range Rovers, or you can also opt for the Discovery, or you want to carry even more people, you can get the Defender 130, which is an 8-seater, which is like the UK's version of the Force Tufan. And here there's a hook, there's a light placement there, speaker placement is almost everywhere because this car's got like crazy amount of speakers, like 19 speakers. Here we get a 12-volt charging socket. There is the first aid kit, and spare wheel is not there in this car. No. It actually comes, but my particular car does not have spare wheel because Land Rover knows now that I never go off-road or ruin the tires. So they're like, you don't need a spare wheel. Jokes aside, spare wheel will be offered to people who buy this car in India, of course. But this particular car is not having it, and full size one with alloy wheels, of course. Strap here, another hook right there. Now the interesting part is there's some buttons. So here I can recline the seat. You saw the recline, and then I can actually, even if I wish, I can put this seat down like that. Yeah, there I press the button. So in case you want to carry a house and you don't have the money for the flagship Range Rover, this is another alternative which you can opt for. So here, let me press the button. Okay, now it's taking its own sweet time. But then once it reclines, you can see, oh my god, it is huge. Well, that's what she said. Why is it not going flat? Maybe I need to press it more. Yeah, there, come on. No, maybe the armrest is actually taking up some space. Here, let the seats come back, bring them back now, and there they are. They are slotted right back into position, and then that went ahead slightly. Now you can actually control the air suspension from here. So right now it's on the lowest setting. Here I press a button, there it is raising, and my goodness, this air suspension is absolutely maddening. Just look at the gap. Okay, it has created nice. Okay, you can actually open this. I think warning triangle will be there. Lights are placed here on the top, and we are just going to press this button because obviously it is a power tailgate. Thing is, it gets a rear spoiler, which you can see with the high mounted stop lamp. Rear wiper is actually hidden, like in the case with most Range Rovers, or all Range Rovers that is. And we've got 2 antennas. The right one is actually for their reception, and the left one is probably also for the reception, but it has a camera there. So yes, they have put the clear side camera right there. It's a beautiful looking car. It's unmistakably a Range Rover Sport. Here it says Dynamic HSC, the variant name, because I've been searching for it and never found it. But here it's actually written, and along with the chassis number 2. Now there seems to be quite a bit of gap here. It's the design actually. And there you can see again cameras. So the one lower down, this one is for the rain sensor. Other ones are for the various ADAS functions. Mostly when I'm talking about this, I mean the lane keep assist. Yeah, that's for the lane keep assist. Okay, now let's get to the rear. First and foremost, if you're expecting a lot of space, it probably will not disappoint you as much. But if you're looking for Range Rover levels of comfort, it will disappoint you. This is known as the Ultra Fabric. It says Meridian 3D surround sound system. This is the hi-fi system with 800 watt output and 19 speakers, whatever. Okay, they have not used a steel cover or aluminum cover. They've actually used fabric, which is like very unique and interesting as well. There's a sun blind here, which by the way is optional. And the worst thing is it's actually optional and manual as well. So at this price, manually doing this is just beneath me. There's a decent amount of storage. There's a proper holder here for your bottle and drinks or whatever, and then it has this nice finishing too. Lot of leather, beautiful treatment. They've put this wood too. Now this is actually for the adjustment of the seat. So obviously it gets a recline, which is 37 degree in terms of recline angle. So there you see, I can recline it by 37 degrees to increase the comfort levels, which is quite nice. Yeah, there you see. Yeah, it is set that it's 37 degrees. It certainly does not feel 37 degrees to me. Anyways, these buttons have been carried over from the older model. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car. It's badly placed at the front. Over here is still pardonable enough. Now you have to actually climb in. Isofix child seat mounts. Every passenger obviously gets a headrest, proper one too, and then there's actually good amount of space on offer, like really good amount of space on offer, and good amount of knee room, leg room. Foot room is also fine. Under thigh support is decent. It's not the best. Headroom is okay, fine for someone as tall as me, considering the fact that this is obviously sloping. AC vents are placed here. Seems like a new thing for the Range Rover Sport. This is beautifully done. This handle to hold on to. Light placement here. No height adjustable seat belt. Says airbag here. There's a hook here. Scooped out seat back a little bit from the side. Magazine holders are placed here. It actually gets a 4-zone climate control air conditioning. Yeah, and you know what? Here is how I actually turn on heating. Here is how I actually turn on ventilation. So I'm just going to shut it. So what I have to do is pull it out, and that's how I actually adjust it. So I'll just explain this bit when we get ahead. So just ignore it for a moment. Oh, proper charger for your laptop. USB-C, USB-C, and a 12-volt charging socket, probably, or cigarette lighter, whatever you want to call it. And there is a slight hump there. Anyways, nice headrest in this car. You have to manually remove the center armrest, which is so un-Range Rover like, because this is obviously the Range Rover Sport. Because in the Range Rover, now you press a button, then it comes down. That's fantastic, really very nice. And then I press this button, twin cup holders open. I press this button, there's some storage space here also. If you notice one thing, the quality of the materials on the in this car is just amazing. It's very nice indeed. They have this nice finishing here. Fantastically done, very comfortable, no denying that fact. I quite like it. I like the rear seat, but then you can only get it in this format of a bench. You can't get it in two-seater format and then have a massive center console here with a refrigerator and all that. You want that, get the Range Rover. Forget, the Sport is not going to offer you that. Dashboard design is similar actually to the Range Rover, but then here it's a bit more sporty. So are the seats. So the seats are actually like having the right cushioning. It's not too stiff, it's not too soft, it's just nice and right. And then obviously there's so much leather, but if you are as environmentally conscious as me and hate electric cars, then probably you can opt for the no leather option, which is complete vegan option. That's also available. So 3-spoke steering wheel here. Range Rover has 4, and you get this massive panoramic roof. Okay, let's get out. Now the thing is, I see it's quite the climb because I've actually raised the air suspension, which I shouldn't have, because now I feel I have to take that extra effort to get in and out. Dynamic swipe indicators look super cool. I quite like it. Now up front, things are very similar to what we've seen on the latest Land Rover cars. So it tells me that what is the recommended tire pressure here. Door pocket is actually big enough, and metal switches for the power window control. These are actually controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment and also for child lock. And then obviously it gets memory function, so you can save up to 3 people settings, not only for the driver but also for the co-passenger, which is interesting. Now you see the seat is actually moving, so is the steering wheel, because obviously that also gets memory function. So there, amazing seats, very comfortable, a little bit more sporty when compared to the regular Range Rover. And then you can use this lever to adjust the steering wheel position, which is you can adjust it both in terms of reach as well as rake. You get a proper dead pedal. This is actually to open the boot of the vehicle, and can you see the ambient lighting? That's also kind of cool because it's got like unlimited colors for ambient lighting. So now I have to actually climb in. This is the only part which kind of feels cheap, this old plastic bit. Otherwise they have used the best quality of materials possible under the sun. So let's get inside. Firstly, you sit lower when compared to the Range Rover, but I'm still sitting quite up. You can see, I can see the hood completely. This is a beautiful mirror because this is obviously auto dimming. And then there, I can see a better resolution of what's behind. Kind of cool. Here you get a mirror and 2 lights, and then I can actually remove this and then use another visor. So yeah, that is amazing. It's so big, it actually blocks all the sun. So I don't need any more SPF on my face, which basically I'm saying sunscreen, because this is doing the job pretty well. Awesome, right? Yeah, this is fantastic. I really like it. And the other thing is that you've obviously got a mic here. A lot of piano black finishing which has been done. So on the outside you've got this chrome. Here we have got copper or whatever, and here we've got dark chrome treatment, which is also quite nice. Now there are 2 glove boxes, so this is the lower one, which is decent size. Again, the finishing on the inside is really very premium, and there's one on the top. Here you see there's some storage space there, again premium finishing. And then you obviously get a 12-volt charging socket which wants to shut itself there. Auto retracts, and then I have to give it a slight nudge, there it shuts. Beautiful continuous AC vent treatment. Not really, it's not continuous here, but very nice material quality, fantastic. Like Land Rover is doing a fab job in terms of the way they're improving the material quality of their cars, but then obviously they're also charging a lot more money now. Now my knee actually hits the center console here, which is kind of unfortunate. There's an armrest right there, which you can adjust like this, which is, yeah, fine, gets the job done. It's kind of weird the way it has to be adjusted, so you can decide how up you want it to be there. I'm just going to It's going to take, yeah, there. I can decide the position of this as well, which is kind of cool. It says airbag here on the pillar too. Nice grab handle right there. And I love the material. I just love it. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's actually open this. There's a fridge here sort of, because you can actually cool this under armrest storage. Yeah, there is light inside as well. This is the key of the vehicle, which I did not bother to show you earlier. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car, this is to turn on the light, and this is to open the boot, and this is for hazard lights. It's the same key as other Land Rover cars. Maybe they should invest in making a better key now, because I'm bored of this one. And here you've got twin cup holders. There is a 12-volt charging socket there. Yeah, it has this sort of thingy so that you can place it properly. There is actually a wireless charging pad right there. Position is a bit weird. And where is the USB charging socket at the front? Let me just see. It's not here, so it has to be somewhere or the other. Not really, I cannot find it. It's not there. Is it there or not? Okay, you can actually remove this if you so wish. Yeah, that is also possible in case you just want to adjust it your way. There it is. I was wondering, how can it not have USB charging sockets? There's one USB-C, there's one USB-A. I just figured it right now. There's some storage space here. So this actually opens, which I did not expect it to, but it does, which is good. Okay, it says vehicle will shut down. So I just press the brake. So that doesn't happen that way. Now let's use these controls. But before that, have a nice glance on the dashboard. Isn't it lovely? You actually pull this outwards to adjust the speed of the fan. That's quite cool. And if I press it inside, then I can adjust whether I want seat heating or seat ventilation, which again is quite cool. So they have made use of one rotary dial to do a lot more things, which is very nice actually. Let's actually open the sunblind. Now the sunblind will auto close when you leave the car, so it knows that in case you forget it, you should not have a very hot cabin the very next day when you enter the car. So that's again a very clever thing to have. It's shutting there. Anyways, lights are placed here. So why can I not see the lights? Oh yeah, there they are. So I just press this like that and then they turn on. It's quite nice. In fact, you won't believe the kind of attention detail this car has. It's just amazing. So we're just going to open the sunroof. It tilts and I have to press it again, and there it actually opens. So the thing is, at night, how do you spot that where are the seat belts? Not a problem, because it actually has lights on the seat belts too. So can you see? Yeah, there are lights on the seat belt. I don't know how this mosquito died or something, but my sympathy with the mosquito, of course. And then, yeah, that's about it. It doesn't open any further, but it opens decently big. So I'm not really going to complain much. So we're just going to shut it for a moment. Now the thing is that all this is actually a fingerprint magnet, because obviously it is finished in black, and also it does a lot of reflection as such. So this is actually for the volume control and to turn on and off the screen. This is the engine start button right there. Now this is on auto, the terrain response system. I can just put it up like that, and then I can browse through the various modes. So basically it has got dynamic, eco, then there's comfort, and obviously for off-road there's grass, gravel, snow, mud, ruts, program, sand, and obviously wade. So if you can do water wading, there it says height changes happening because the wade program is selected. And then you won't believe the mirror also changed position. Here it's showing me some other information and all. So it does everything very nicely. So we're just going to actually get into the comfort program. There you can browse it very easily. This is for downhill assist or all-terrain progress control. It says EV here because 2024 will see the launch of the Range Rover Sport EV. And there's another thing here which is God only knows what it is, but yeah, I've seen this before in a Land Rover car, but I'm not able to recollect. Now, beautiful controls here for the air conditioning, which I've already mentioned. Gear lever feels nice to hold, of course. And this is actually a 13.1-inch PV Pro curved display, which is fantastic. It's amazing. It's just very good. It's very fast to browse. You can just browse through like that. And then there's a lot of things like slope assist is there, which showing you various things. Then there's this weight sensor, which tells you in real time that how is this, how much water wading you're doing and what is the limit to it, because 900 mm of water wading capacity. By the way, this thing will shut all the parking sensors when it turns on the weight sensor. So we're just going to get out of this, and it's actually easy to browse. There's a compass, wheel information, weight sensor and all that. Air quality, so I think the air purifier or something of that sort is actually optional in this car. And then energy impact, what you have. You're driving a Range Rover. This is like, even though it's a sport, you never have to be worried about such a thing, right? Now here you can obviously browse through stuff very easily. It gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity. Let's get into seats, because some interesting bits here. For starters, there's massage. So here I turn on the massage for me, and then I can increase the intensity of the massage. Oh, 5 intensities, nice. And then I can decide what kind of massage I want. Look at the kind of massages, up, down, blah, blah, blah. So many things. Wow, it's amazing. So the only thing is the control should have been better because I have to get into this. Even if I want to adjust a few other things, I have to get into this for better adjustment of the lumbar and all. I have to actually get into this setting in the screen and all. I can actually fold the seats if I so wish. I'm like, okay, let's fold this seat, and yeah. So I press the fold button, there it's folding. So I can actually decide all that. Oh my god, I don't have to go to the boot and do that. So I'm just going to like unfold all so that it gets back into position. Quite nice electric seats, huh? Well, let's hope it lasts long. Anyways, let's get out of here. So plenty of things which you can actually go through right here, but I'll get into cabin lighting, and this thing is making some sound. Okay dude, you have positioned yourself. Stop sounding like a fool. Shut up. It has a mind of its own. It's just doing things on its own. I never even asked it. Now here we have got I think 7-8 colors for ambient lighting. So I'm just going to show you right there. Can you see ambient lighting right now? So I'll change it. It's actually the better ambient lighting which I've seen, because it's almost Mercedes S-Class type, wherein in the day also, bright day also, you can see it. So I'm going to get into my color and customize, and then you can see there's like 1000 options for the ambient lighting. So there it is. Yeah, visible in the day, quite nice. Only thing is the position is so lower down now, you can't really see it properly. Let's do one thing. Let's listen to an audio. Audio quality is actually quite nice. I like the system. It's very easy to browse also. So fantastic in that regard. Now the thing is, it has actually got self-park function too, which again works quite nice. For something as big as this, it's able to park and leave. Well, that's quite cool. Now let's actually get into the camera system. It's got 360-degree parking cameras, of course, and there's a 3D view here, which you can browse through very easily, which is quite good. And then I can actually browse it from here as well. So there, I'm just shifting it. Quality of the camera is actually nice. Quality of the screen is also very nice indeed. So just going to shut this right now, and then I'm just going to move it around like this. So why don't you just shut yourself? So there's a confusion which is happening. So I'm just going to come out of this. Yeah, here we are into the camera system again, and we will just get into the regular view, which means that firstly let's get into the off-road view of the camera. So here also you got multiple options to see, which is like something which almost every other car will also show you, which has 360-degree cameras. This is the reverse parking camera. I don't know what Nuren is doing here, taking videos of the car, but here I can press this button to clean the rear camera as well. And here, okay, multiple camera views, and when you're driving now, you can actually see this in motion as well, which is fantastic. So let's get out of this and let me get into park. Now these are actually the controls for the audio system. These are the controls for the cruise control system. So it obviously has adaptive cruise control too, and this is for the lane departure warning. Says Range Rover here, the horn. The horn is nice and loud, and this gets a 3-spoke steering wheel, and the Range Rover actually gets a 4-spoke steering wheel. So again, more sportier, beautiful finishing as well. Now this is actually a 13.7-inch screen, which is fantastic because it has obviously got quite a lot of information. Oh my god, I pressed the wrong buttons and wrong things happen. So I'm just going to press this. So you can actually change the layout right here. So I get into display layout. I can get a map view, like a full map view. That is a full map view right now. So again, things are very much similar to what we have seen on other Range Rover models. So yeah, I'm just going to clear that, and then let's just press this and get into the display layout again, because my preferred one has to be the dial one, because I think that looks quite good. This is the one, and then you get information, you can browse through all that. So yeah, pretty nice screen here. These are the controls for the wipers. Let's use the wipers right away. There, plenty of spray on offer. Okay, because the lights are on, I just made the whole car wet completely. Okay, you won't believe the bonnet is completely wet because of that. There's a heads-up display which you can see right there. Okay, and I'm just going to get into drive mode here. I actually get into sport. When I get into sport, it also kind of shows me the RPM meter. Yeah, that also happens. So we are just going to get into park, and I'm going to turn off the car, which means the button is right here. Yeah, there, that beautiful display. It says Land Rover right there. Now the thing is that these buttons to unlock and lock the car are placed very much lower down, like they're very low, so it's not easy to find them, and it's a little bit of a cumbersome issue as well. Thing is, I am actually going to lock the car, and let's see what happens with the way the windows behave. You can see the car has completely made itself wet. here. I'm just going to lock it. Now, if I press this button there, you see, I turn on the light, and I'm going to keep this button pressed. This thing will not roll down the windows because I think some setting is amiss on the inside, but at least I can actually open the boot by pressing a button there. Oh God, I have to press it like once, and there it actually opens. Now, the reason I'm opening the boot is to tell you that it doesn't get the split tailgate, which is there in the Range Rover, the regular model. So, obviously, you pay more for the Range Rover, you get a lot more in the Range Rover too. By the way, this car has also got soft close door function. So, let's open the door there. Yeah, there, this pops out. And then I just leave it like this. There, it pulls it inside. I've not left it enough. Yeah, now it pulls it inside and closes it. So, soft close door function they can give, but they will not give electric sun blinds, unfortunately. Anyways, let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means first and foremost we are going to turn off the air conditioning. Yeah, air conditioning off completely. Let me get back in this menu. Now, first things first, let us get into dynamic mode, and for the gearbox also I will actually get into sport. That's fine. We're also going to turn on the camera system because obviously the camera is fantastic. Before that, I need to turn off traction control. So I'm just going to press this button here. Hopefully I will be able to access everything. There, dynamic stability control off, left foot on the brake. And we turn on the camera system, obviously, because it's super cool here. Right foot on the accelerator, hazard light off, revving the motor. Oh, dynamic launch activated. It's unbelievable the way this car accelerates, you know, not because of the speed, but purely because of the weight it manages to pull so hard and strong. So this is actually powered by both petrol and diesel engine options in India. Globally, there's so many engines now, you will lose count completely. But the one I'm driving is obviously the petrol, which you can obviously feel by the sound, which is obviously a little bit more sporty. Now, look, listen to this, okay? That's a nice sound, but the insulation levels are just through the roof. Unbelievably refined this car, and there's so much material insulating everything. I don't like even joke here. Look at the thickness of this glass. It's unbelievably thick. So obviously you can't hear much on the inside, and as soon as I get into sport or dynamic, you can see the heads-up display has that RPM meter also going on. Okay, this is a car which somehow manages to accelerate even with that 2360 kgs of weight, but the brakes are on the poor side. So that's a bit of a hassle. Yeah, the brakes could be better for sure. I can actually just browse through this. No, that's not what I was looking for. I can browse through this screen, but I have to actually go into the display layout there, and actually have to go into info panel. It's a little confusing. They just like made it too confusing, and now I can browse through. So you can see I am changing a few things here. Yeah, actually the thing is I should be able to change this anytime I want, not get into a menu and then activate this, but then that's a small problem. Let's get to the heart of the matter. So they have 3-liter straight 6 engines, both for petrol as well as diesel. Yeah, straight 6-cylinder petrol and diesel engine options. Thing is, this is known as the P400, the petrol, which obviously means 400 horsepower. Now that 400 horsepower comes in at 5000 RPM and stays there till 6500 RPM, meaning there's a very good power rush in the top end. Yes, and then we have good amount of torque, which is 550 Newton meters, which comes in at a rather low 2000 RPM and stays there till 5000 RPM. So that's managing the mid-range. What about the low end? Is there lag? Minor lag actually, which is well taken care of because this is a mild hybrid, which means that it gets a 48 volt system, which gives that initial punch, thereby masking the turbo lag in this car. And the result is it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.5 seconds, which is quite quick, okay, for something as heavy as this, and obviously for a 6-cylinder engine car. Top speed is 235 kilometers per hour. The diesel obviously is the one everyone will buy, and the diesel is producing not roughly 350 horsepower. Come on, it's known as the D350, so it has to make 350 horsepower, and the torque output is 700 Newton meters. So obviously it is very punchy because of the torque rush, and that car goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.9 seconds. Top speed is around 234 kilometers per hour. The diesel is the car to buy, obviously, because of better fuel efficiency. That manages the weight somehow. The D350 is so good, it's so good, I can't even tell you how good it is. That is the one which everybody prefers abroad because of the good fuel efficiency, and then obviously the long range it's able to pull thanks to the torque rush and the overall efficiency that the diesel has to offer. Now the thing with the diesel is that we thankfully get a D350 in India. Abroad they also have a D300 with 300 horsepower. So thank you so much Land Rover for giving us 50 horsepower extra. I don't know how to actually return the favor, but that 50 horsepower means a lot to me. Hopefully we'll drive the Range Rover Sport with the D350 engine as well. The petrol is very nice. Okay, it's very refined, very sporty, and somehow I feel that the gearbox does a decent job here. So we've got paddle shifters. So if I want to make shifts, no problem, I can do that as well. But the thing is that this is a torque converter gearbox. It's not the fastest with shifts, but it's quick enough. It gets the job done. And the diesel also has the same 8-speed torque converter gearbox. The Sport is not really a sporty SUV. The Range Rover Sport is actually the sportier version of the Range Rover, which should actually be called as the Range Rover Luxury, because come on, this is very ponderous. They've actually put so much weight in this car, even though they try reducing weight using aluminium and whatnot, but still it's a heavy car. And at least the one I'm driving is still on the lighter side because it's a petrol, and it's not the plug-in hybrid, because they have a plug-in hybrid. They have two of those actually, the P450E and the P510E, which weigh almost 3000 kgs with fuel and people on board, but around 2800 kgs otherwise, which is quite a lot of weight. And honestly, that makes the braking suffer quite a bit. So that's a bit of a problem. The weight of this car is just too much, and you can feel that weight. It's very ponderous, it's very heavy, and then there is considerable amount of body roll, even though they have actually reduced the ride height by 20 mm, and they've also actually gone ahead and stiffened the car by around 35%, yet you can feel the weight. The brakes, you can, yeah, the brakes are not show-footed, which is surprising because it's a heavy car with such wide tires, but you know, the tires screech if you apply like 80% brakes. Okay, so let's actually turn off the traction control because I think it turned on. Anyways, ride height here, I can take it to off-road height if I so wish. Let's actually get into the camera system. I love the camera system, it's just so amazing. And it's time to launch. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. No. We need to activate launch control, which means that I have to actually really try hard with the pedals. So again, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Why is this thing not activating? And off we go. No, it bogged down. So this thing doesn't work well, the launch control system in this car, which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, it says dynamic launch unavailable because of some outside parameters or whatever. Anyways, we are off. Pulls nicely, sounds great for a car which is very well insulated, but somehow some weird sound is coming. I can't hear it. I mean, I don't know from where it is coming. It's not something like from the suspension or anything of that sort. This is actually underpinned by the MLA Flex platform, which is known as the modular longitudinal architecture, which underpins the Range Rover as well. In fact, it shares all its underpinnings with the Range Rover. Yes, that's right. They've only made this car more sporty in terms of the way the suspension has been set up. Obviously, air suspension is here, and like I told you, 35% stiffer, 20 mm lower, and all that has been done. In fact, the lowest ground clearance is 216 mm, and the highest is 281 mm. So it can go off-road. It can do 900 millimeters of water wading as well, which is again absolutely amazing. No denying that fact. But I'm not sure how many people are actually going to take this car off the road, because it doesn't make much sense. Right now, I was telling you about the plug-in hybrid weighs so much more. It's just like crazy. Doesn't make any sense to buy such a heavy car. Well, actually the thing is, it might weigh so much, but it also gives you the benefit of more than 100 kilometers of pure electric range, which means that even though you feel guilty of driving a Range Rover which is so big and huge and polluting and all that, you can actually drive in the city on electric power alone, thereby saving the world. So if you are looking to save the world, get yourself a Range Rover Sport with a plug-in hybrid option. Okay, that really doesn't work, but anyways, they have said that they're going to go all electric, not like discontinue all the other variants, but they will have a Range Rover Sport electric version by 2024. I'm not so looking forward to that. Anyways, you get on throttle, there is instant response. So this engine is actually fantastic, and the thing is, they have actually hired the chassis engineer from Aston Martin and Lotus. So he arrived a bit late when the whole hardware bits were signed off of this car, but he's worked on the software, and he said that software does make a big difference. So I'm not too sure if that's true or not, but in terms of handling, it's a bit of a handful because there's so much weight, there's body roll. Now if I compare to the Range Rover, oh my god, this is so sporty, this is so smooth, this is so amazing in almost every possible way. But then let's be very honest, at the end of the day, a person who's buying a Range Rover Sport doesn't have the budget of the Range Rover, so he's not even looking at the Range Rover, he's looking at other alternatives in the segment, and that is where the problem lies, because this car has sport to its name, but it's not really sporty, it's very heavy. Yeah, like I was telling you, again I'm telling you that compared to the Range Rover, this is much more stiffer, better handling, steering has so much feel, there's no slack. I mean, they've tightened things up, but there is considerable body roll which you can feel. Yeah, there is a lot of body roll. And remember, once I was telling you there's this Statue of Liberty, actually it is here on the left side, there is a Statue of freaking Liberty. That doesn't even make sense why there is one there, but I just spotted it last time and I had actually made a note saying that I'm going to go and find a Statue of Liberty this time. I'll just show it to you. Alright, hazard lights off and revving the motor. Okay, dynamic launch activated. It actually upshifts. Oh my god, look at the bumps on the road. This is like a real world test, the moose test, I would say, and I can feel there's a considerable issue in terms of directional changes with this car. It's not that fast with directional changes. I don't know why they have dug this up like this, but yeah. So the thing is that if you try to push it hard and corner hard now, I have to admit the issue is that the front end just gets into understeer, so that balance is not there. Like say the Velar is better in that regard, obviously it has to carry lesser weight, but then the ride is on the firmer side. It doesn't waft along like a Range Rover, but still the ride is good enough. Only thing is it kind of, because of the big wheels, crashes through these expansion joints on the road. Now the thing is that you can also get a lot of things, including electronic differential, a 48 volt anti-roll bar and whatnot. In fact, the torque vectoring has been tuned to be more sporty, which is basically it applies brakes to the inside wheels when cornering, just to ensure that you have optimum traction and there's no loss of grip. And then obviously it has got a slew of other bits. Even the air suspension is tuned now to be sportier here, just so that you are able to drive faster and have more fun, and body roll is obviously lesser than the Range Rover and all these things, which is a given, which is kind of obvious. It also comes with the option of all-wheel steering. Yes, you get rear-wheel steering, which obviously makes maneuverability better by virtually reducing the wheelbase at higher speeds, because the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction to the front wheels. But anyways, that's not important. What's important is that you can opt for any variant of this car and have any feature as well. Not really any feature, but even in the lower variant, you can get some features by paying some extra money, so customization is great. Also gets the option of a 4.4 liter V8 engine, which obviously is the one that powers most of BMW's M models, actually all of them. So that 4.4 liter V8 has been borrowed by Land Rover now for use, because they've said bye-bye to the 5 liter supercharged V8 engine, because that wasn't that great. The 4.4 liter V8 is just amazing, which produces lesser horsepower. I think around 523 horsepower in Land Rover cars, whereas in BMWs it's producing around 625 horsepower, so that can be opted for as well, but that's not available in India right now. In fact, the lineup is very small in Chintu Mintu for India. Okay, let's taking a U-turn here. As such, there is no issue, because even though the turning radius is quite a lot and this one doesn't have rear wheel steering, it's quite manageable as such. And then onto the throttle, it rests fast now. It redlines around 6,800 RPM, closer to 7,000 RPM. Engine feels eager to rev fast. It doesn't feel lethargic. It doesn't think twice before just pulling strongly, because power delivery is very linear here, and it's quite fun. It's indeed quite fun. You know why? Because firstly, you have this throne position. Like, you look at this, you can see the hood. You're sitting so high up. It's very nice a position to be in, and then obviously you can raise the ride height if you want to be above this truck as well. And then you come across bumps, so you take it a little easy, because the ride is not in the same league as a Range Rover. Now there are 4 trims on offer, which is quite less actually, and they are like petrol and diesel, but the petrol is not available in the base trim, which means that there are total 7 variants on offer here, which is quite less, let's be honest, because the Range Rover comes with 37 freaking variants, because it has got 3 engines, it's got 3 rear seating options, it's got 2 wheelbases, and when you do permutations and combinations, you end up with 37 freaking variants. But who knows, who cares, because at the end of the day, this car is a CBU, so is the Range Rover, and waiting period is quite a lot. It's almost like 15-16 months right now, but even if you customize the car, it's not going to delay your car as such. And then you know what, they launched this car almost 6 months back, so around May 2022 is when they launched, announced and all that, and now they're starting delivery, so things are running a little delayed. And obviously India doesn't get priority, considering that India is not really a big market for Land Rover, especially when you talk about more expensive cars like the Range Rover Sport and the Range Rover. In fact, this is a very expensive car. I can't even tell you how expensive it is. it kind of doesn't make sense why Land Rover keeps increasing its prices dramatically. Yes, the car is much improved, but so is the price, man. Not much improved. The opposite of that, it's become expensive. It's an expensive car now, quite expensive, but then it's very capable off the road as well, like the case with all Land Rover cars. So it's got all-wheel drive, it's got a slew of systems, and then so many modes. Like right now we are in dynamic mode, so I can actually change through. There is eco mode, then there happens to be the comfort mode, wherein the air suspension takes things a little easy, then the grass, gravel and all that. They have like ton of off-road programs, but the fuel efficiency of this car is not great. This one will return you somewhere between 4 to 5 kilometers per liter if you're driving it hard and fast. If you take it a little easy, this can stretch to almost maybe 8-9 kilometers tops. It's never going to reach double digit numbers, unfortunately. In fact, it's saying 19.8 liters per 100 kilometers, which is absolutely a bad drinking habit this car has got. So the problem with this car is that even though it has sport in its name, it's not really a sporty SUV. It's not the best riding, it doesn't have the best handling, it doesn't have the best steering, it doesn't have the best features, equipment, quality, reliability, durability. I can keep going on and on and on and on about how this car is sort of mediocre in many ways. So it's like jack of all trades but master of none. And would you pay more than 2 crore rupees for something like that? Yes, you will, because the real differentiating factor of a Land Rover car, especially the Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport, and even the Velar for that matter, it was with the Evoque also at one point of time, but they kind of ruined it now, was that the desirability levels are through the roof. This is the second most desirable SUV in the world right now. The first one, of course, is the Range Rover. Badi papa ki to tareef karni padegi, but yeah, this is a hugely desirable car. And when you drive it, you forget all the other issues like pricing and the ride not being the best and the handling not being a little cumbersome, because it has this character and personality which other cars in the segment do not have. Like, yes, the BMW X5s and the X6 of the world will be fast and agile and reliable and proven and good in quality and all, but they're not a Range Rover Sport at the end of the day, right? A Range Rover Sport is a freaking Range Rover Sport. In fact, oh, look at the sound. Okay, here, I'm going to downshift. Come on. Yeah. There it's holding it at almost 7,000 RPM. It will not upshift until and unless I decide to do so. So thank you so much for giving me manual control. Much appreciated for sure. Just turn on the hazard light, stop here. It's time for launching it again, which means I'm going to quickly actually change the cluster mode. So we're going to get into the display layout and we are going to get in the dial 1. Like I was telling you, the dial 1 is the best. Okay, wait, first let's turn off the traction control because it automatically got turned on. I was just going through the drive modes. उसमें ये प्रॉब्लम हो गई. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Come on, launch control. No, it works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes. That consistency is not there at all. Which actually brings me to the pricing of this car, which is quite a lot, okay? So basically what has happened is that Land Rover realized now we need to compete with the Bentley Bentayga. So they have taken the Range Rover to a segment up, and the prices have also gone up quite a lot. And thus the prices of the Range Rover Sport have also gone up, and they have gone up quite a lot as well, which is kind of unfortunate because prices of cars are just going up and up and up all the time. Thing is, I kind of feel nervous cornering this car hard because somehow it just doesn't feel that reassuring. If you want a sporty SUV, get the Porsche Cayenne, period. End of story. No two ways about it. Now, I was telling you about the pricing. Okay, so 1.98 crores is the base price on road Mumbai, of course, which is for the diesel, the entry-level diesel. And the top end is also for the diesel only because, like I was telling you, the petrol is not available in the base trim. So the top variant happens to be the first edition. 2.22 crores is the price of the top end. This is 2.15 crores. All the prices are on road Mumbai, of course, which makes me feel that just get the diesel, honestly. The first edition has that swag because it's only available in the first year of production, and after that it's no longer available. So if you want to do R&D, be my guest, get the first edition. Just kidding, huh? Oh god, I don't even realize when it's pulling speeds. It's just so quick somehow. In spite of the fact that we are not having a 4.4 liter V8 engine right now powering us, yet it is quick enough. This engine gets the job done. There's no two ways about it. The diesel will be definitely better. I can guarantee that to you because obviously a diesel is a freaking diesel. The price is 2.22 crores for this one. However, the top end I'm talking about, yet it is 60 lakhs cheaper, 61 lakhs cheaper than the base version of the Range Rover. So you can see the Range Rover is so expensive. It's like 2.83 crores starting price, going all the way to 4.16 crores for the top end variant with, of course, not even customization put into the picture, and that one is powered by 4.4 liter V8, the top end variant. But for the price of one Range Rover, you can almost get two top-end Range Rover Sports. Range Rover Sport I said, okay, not Sports. Little confusion, but that's how expensive this car is. It's unbelievably expensive. It's like crazy expensive. Yeah, mind-blowing expensive. In fact, once Land Rover is able to iron out all the issues, people will just close their eyes and buy this car because it's very, 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 very desirable. In terms of desirability, very difficult to top this one. Very, very difficult to top this one. And I'm just waiting for the SVR to come because that would be just mind-blowing. That's the reason they have not offered us the 4.4 liter V8 engine model in India right now, because they're like, we'll get it with the SVR. Oh my god, that one is so quick, because I remember I've driven the previous generation one. What a car. And check this out, okay? There the spray is happening. It's so cool. I love this. So cool things now in this car. It just kind of blows your mind. Anyways, here attention detail so much that I can actually see the lights blinking, which is wow. Obviously these are not dynamic swipe ones, which I hope they were. Anyways, left foot on the brake. Oh, I'm changing the steering angle and adaptive guidelines. Everything is seen. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, revving the motor. Come on, dynamic launch. No. It's gone for a vacation and off we go. Okay, quite a lot of traffic coming from here. They're telling me to shift gears. It shows so much information, which is actually quite nice. So the thing is, we'll do a quick dive into the history of this car. It was first launched in 2005, the first generation Range Rover Sport. When Land Rover realized, yeah, our Range Rover is actually getting more expensive, let me turn this on. This is so cool as well. I actually prefer the normal one, that's why I did not turn it on, but this is also super cool. So basically the first generation model was launched in 2005, the Range Rover Sport, but was nothing, I mean, it had nothing to do with the Range Rover. What? Why? What am I even talking? Well, the thing is, what they did now, they took the Discovery 3 platform and they made this car and they called it Range Rover Sport. It had nothing to do with it, okay, with the Range Rover, of course. And then they realized that, so in 2013, when the second generation model came along, that was actually based on the Range Rover, and it was so much based on the Range Rover that it looked awfully similar. So then they realized, okay, now let's make some difference. So now in 2022, 9 years after the second generation model made its debut, they've come up with the third generation model of the Range Rover Sport. And as I see it, it's a car which is an affordable way to own a Range Rover, which is not a Range Rover, but it's a sporty version of the Range Rover, but not really a sporty SUV. And on that confusion, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Come on, downshift. Give me some performance. Horn is really very nice, huh? People actually turn around to see this car. That's the kind of presence it has. Yeah, there's that lag between shifts, and then there's a nice sweeperish sort of a corner coming ahead, and then you can see the roll. In fact, yeah, there is quite a lot of travel in the suspension. If this was the regular Range Rover now, I wouldn't feel much inside because I would have already rolled a few times altogether. But the ride of the flagship Range Rover is just unfreaking believable. And on that discovery, or I think I already said something, so chalo, bye.